Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review of the brand new C6 Agility Stealth Carbon Shin Guards. Now this is a brand new product from C6 Agility. It has a retail price of $100 US, but if you use coupon code SR4U at checkout on the C6 Agility website, it'll give you 10% off, which drops the price to $90 US. And for your $90, not only are you getting the shin guards, you're actually getting a set of the C6 Valor compression sleeves as well. So, still very expensive for a pair of shin guards, but they're handmade in the US, made from aerospace grade carbon fiber, and feature some pretty innovative design and materials. Now, as you guys can see, if you're familiar with the C6 product lineup, the Stealth Carbon is kind of a combination of their two other high-end shin guards. The Elite Carbon, which I recently reviewed on the channel, I'll leave an annotation on screen if you want to check that out, which does feature this dual hinge 3-bar design, but obviously with a much different backing material. And then of course, the most expensive shin guard on offer from C6, their 3rd gen carbon fiber shin guard, which retails for $145. Obviously this is a one-piece shell and it has a super thin profile, but you're kind of getting the thin profile of the 3rd gen shin guard and the hinge design of the Elite Carbon all in one with their new Stealth Carbon product. So we're gonna go over all the details in today's video in regards to the shin guard as well as the actual sleeves. I've been wearing these for the last 2 weeks and I've been pretty happy with my overall experience. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around, watch the entire video. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's go over all the tech specs and performance features of the C6 Agility Stealth Carbon. Now, just like the Elite Carbon, this does feature their dual hinge system, where essentially you have 3 separate bars of premium aerospace grade handmade carbon fiber that are attached by the backing material / liner. Now, the reasoning for the dual hinge system is it allows the shin guard to basically form to the shape of any leg at all. So it starts off as completely flat, and then as you press them against your leg, it'll basically offer a near perfect fit. If you're one of those people that generally struggles with shin guards fitting your leg properly, something like this with this hinge system will definitely be beneficial to you in terms of the shin guard just wrapping your leg more comfortably and wrapping your leg more closely, which is going to up the level of protection that the shin guards are ultimately going to provide. When you have a solid shape, yes, technically it'll be a little bit stronger, but there definitely is a chance that the shin guard won't necessarily match the exact shape of your leg. And this hinge system allows them to, like I said, get a closer fit, a more accurate fit to your leg for pretty much anybody. So that is definitely a big benefit of the hinge system. And for those that might be concerned about having separate kind of breaks within the actual guard itself, as you guys can see when it bends, it doesn't really leave a gap in protection. They're very, very close to each other. When the shin guard's completely flat, there's pretty much no gap whatsoever. And then when you do bend it a little bit, again, the amount of gap that's in there is next to nothing. So the overall protection and coverage that you get where the shin guard is covering is very, very good. As far as the actual carbon itself is concerned, it is an aerospace grade carbon fiber and it is super thin. The shin guard itself is 3.5 millimeters thick. It's their 2nd thinnest shin guard on offer. The only thing that is thinner is their 3rd gen shin guard, but it does retail for significantly more money and it's a different style shin guard altogether. But at 3.5 millimeters, that is absolutely ridiculous. You're pretty much going to forget that you're wearing them altogether just because of how thin they are and how well they actually wrap your leg. For comparison's sake, I have a pair of Nike Attack Premium shin guards and you can see the thickness difference between the two is very, very significant. This Nike shin guard is basically 3 times as thick. And honestly, the shell is not as hard as what you're going to find on this C6 Agility shin guard. The carbon fiber is pure carbon fiber. What you find from a lot of brands with their carbon fiber shin guards is it's mostly plastic and then they just put a single layer of carbon fiber there for the look of carbon fiber, but you're not actually getting the benefit of the material itself. This is pure carbon fiber. That's why the shell is so thin. That's why the shell is so hard. There's basically no flex in this whatsoever. So should you take an impact to the shin, like I said, the amount of protection that this shell is going to provide is well above average in comparison to pretty much any other shin guard out there, carbon fiber or not. C6 Agility really does make some pretty impressive materials when it comes to their carbon fiber shells. Moving on to the backing material, it is a thin layer of Poron XRD foam. So again, that is shared with the more expensive 3rd gen shin guard, with that I really, really like. And then behind that, you have a Durawick textured backing material that acts as your liner. It's got a very, very fine texturing to it. It's almost like a fine grit sandpaper, I guess is the best way to describe it, but it's not rough. It's just textured enough to where it's going to allow sweat and moisture to kind of flow down through the bottom of the shin guard. It doesn't absorb any moisture, so the shin guards stay nice and dry. And because of that little bit of texturing, if the shin guard is sitting directly against your leg or even inside of a sleeve or something like that, it does a good job of gripping whatever it's backing, whatever it's kind of pressed against, just because of that little bit of extra texturing. So in terms of the shin guard sliding around, as long as they're secured well in the first place, they're just not going to move around on you. It's a really, really nice backing material. And again, it's a super slim, low profile package where the Hexalite Carbon is basically the same shin guard with just a little bit more protection. If you want something a little bit bulkier, because a lot of people like that, that's what the Hexalite Carbon is for. Whereas if you're somebody like me, perhaps, where you like something a little bit more low profile, the Stealth Carbon probably is the better option for you. But all in all, it's a very, very solid product. Again, depending on what you're looking for in a pair of shin guards. As far as weight is concerned, the Stealth Carbon is basically as light as you could possibly want a pair of shin guards to be. So I'm going to weigh this for you today using this scale. Keep in mind that this pair is a size large. They make it in a medium as well. And if you're looking for exact dimensions on the actual shin guard, that is listed on the C6 Agility website. But we're going to throw these on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at an extremely lightweight 1.95 ounces. The equivalent of 55 grams. So to sum up how that actually feels when you're wearing them, they're essentially weightless. Because they're so thin, because they're so light, and because of the dual hinge system, they fit your leg quite well. So once they're secured in place, they essentially disappear on your legs. And for me, one of the biggest problems that I have with a lot of shin guards is they're kind of a hindrance. They're distracting, they get in the way, they move around, they just don't feel right. And something like this, as light and as thin as it is, you can pretty much forget about them altogether, but still be certain that you do have that protection on your leg should you take a blow to the shin. So for me, that's really where the C6 Agility product line sets itself apart. Obviously, if you want the Hexalite Carbon with a little bit more bulk, they do have that on offer, but with the Stealth Carbon or the 3rd gen shin guard, which, believe it or not, is a little bit thinner and a little bit lighter than the Stealth Carbon, they have those products on offer. And for me, it just makes the experience of playing that much better. So in terms of just being super, super light, it's really, really hard to beat something like the Stealth Carbon. As far as the sleeves go, these are the C6 Valor compression sleeves. These do sell separately on the C6 website for $25, but they are included with the Stealth Carbon shin guards. They include a black set with obviously the matching size to whichever size shin guard that you get. They do sell them separately, obviously in different sizes, and also in a white variation if you just want to get a pair of sleeves. But as far as the shin guard sleeves themselves go, they're nothing too crazy, but they are above average as far as shin guard sleeves go, where a lot of shin guard sleeves, especially the ones from Nike, they can be pretty cheap and just they don't last very long. That's the problem. This is an elasticated material, but it's got some good thickness to it, and it's just not flimsy. It holds up well. You're not going to find that when you do take some studs to the shin or something like that, that it rips open. You can wash it and it doesn't shrink or overstretch or anything like that. It just holds up really, really well, which is kind of half the battle when it comes to shin guard sleeves. You're going to find basically one seam where it is stitched down the back. And something that I also really like about this particular sleeve is the silicone band at the top. So the part that sits around your leg is silicone, so it grips your skin nicely, and it doesn't allow the shin guard to slide down when you're actually playing, which does its job in terms of just helping your shin guards to stay secure in place. What's nice about the C6 Agility Stealth Carbon shin guard and pretty much any of their products, because of how light they are and because of how well they fit your leg, there isn't a lot of product to actually hold in place. So something like this is sufficient in terms of holding the shin guards in place. I never found the need to use tape or anything like that. And again, it's nice that they include them with the shin guards as well. So the sleeves, they're nothing incredible, but they definitely are above average in terms of compression sleeves that are included with the actual shin guards. All right, so here is a look at how the Stealth Carbons look when you're actually wearing them. You can see on my left leg, I just have the shin guards and the sleeve just so you can get a better idea of how the shin guard looks against your leg and how the sleeves work as well. And then on my right leg, obviously, I have the sleeve, the shin guards, and then a regular pair of full-length soccer socks. So you can see what that looks like as well. Fit-wise, they fit extremely well. Obviously, with the dual hinge design, it wraps your leg pretty much perfectly. Are there technically small gaps where the hinges are? Yes, but that's just kind of part of a hinge design. You can't have it perfectly rounded, but for the most part, it fits very closely, and there's a minimal extra bulk kind of sticking off your shins. For the most part, like I said, they kind of disappear on your legs. They're super thin, they fit really well, and they're also extremely lightweight, so you don't really notice them once they're properly secured in place, which the sleeves do pretty well. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing a size large, and just as reference, I'm about 5'11". If you guys are wondering, like I mentioned earlier in the video, the exact dimensions for the medium as well as the large sizes are listed on the C6 Agility website. So you can kind of check out those dimensions and measure those against your own legs so you can get the proper size. Really, because of the hinge design, the width is not going to be an issue because the width is fully adjustable. It's just a matter of whether you want something a little bit taller or a little bit shorter, depending on how much coverage you like. For me, the size large is still a smaller style shin guard, and it's just about the right amount of coverage in terms of what I like. But again, everyone has their own personal preference when it comes to shin guards. But overall, very comfortable to wear. The liner's really nice. They're super thin, they're super lightweight, they fit quite well, and there really isn't anything to complain about. It's a really, really solid pair of shin guards. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the C6 Agility Stealth Carbon Shin Guard. This is, in my opinion, a very, very good product, handmade in the US. The quality is absolutely fantastic. It fits really well. It's super thin, it's super lightweight, and it's pretty much everything you could possibly want in a pair of shin guards if you prefer something that is thinner, smaller, and just lower profile in general. So again, if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the C6 Agility website. That'll be linked down below in the description of this video. And if you do use coupon code SR4U at checkout, you will receive 10% off this shin guard, as well as all the other shin guards featured on their website. So again, if you're interested in a pair, link is in the description. Go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the C6 Agility Stealth Carbon Shin Guard or any of the C6 Agility products, leave them down below in the comment section and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.